What's up, guys? Adam Patterson here. And today, the topic I want to talk about is success and how I believe you achieve it in whatever walk of life or whatever career path you choose. And my personal belief is that success is built through trial and error. I believe that experience is the best teacher. I believe that trial by fire has always been the best way to learn something. And I don't say that for you to just jump in with both feet. But in a little bit of a way I do. When I first got my first big high school job, what I considered a big high school job at a local grocery store chain that was pretty popular and I can move around the departments and all, I learned plenty of different departments all by trial by fire. They put me in at the busiest times and said, just learn as you go, ask questions, learn as you go. And it was always the best teacher for me. It was far better than sitting in a classroom, and hands-on learning wasn't what I tested for. I'm an audible learner. I enjoy seeing things as well, but learning through doing wasn't what I tested high on when I went and took the test about how does Adam best learn. Learning by doing was actually at the bottom of things. And what's funny about that is that up to that point in my life, there was nothing that I had ever had to learn through doing. And it was only I sat in a classroom, my ability to learn through doing wasn't really there. It was learned by visual learning or learned by hearing it. I have always had a unique ability to remember through words. And when I hear something, I can recall what I heard. And typically when I can recall what I heard, I can also recall what I said or was in at that said, what I saw at that current moment. For instance, if someone were to tell me to think of something from seventh and eighth grade when I was studying Latin, I wouldn't really be able to tell it to you that easily. But if somebody said some trigger word that I then heard, it would probably take me back to exactly what I needed to know. And then I would probably be able to visualize it as well, that I could spell out something. And I don't have some special memory either. I don't think that this is unique to me. And it's definitely not whatever they call an eidetic memory or whatever, where you can see things and remember everything that you've ever learned. That's not what I have. But trial by experience was something that I had never had up to the point where I took that test on how does Adam learn best. And once I got into real life, I realized that I learn best by doing. I would rather do it and fail and then iterate and learn and change what I'm doing to make it better than I would sit there and read and pretend I know something. And the only way to only truly know if you ever can do something properly is to do it and fail and then try again. The only true form of learning that I actually believe is out there in terms of what is useful to your life is trial and error. And I'm a fan of reading. I'm a fan of reading up and learning something by the book. And I'm also a fan of throw it all out the window and trust your gut. But you can only do that once you've experienced whatever it is that you're doing. I could only get better at sales when I hadn't been at selling or sales through reading about sales. That was the only way that I could really learn the process. The only other way to learn about selling and the only true way to learn about selling and how to sell and how to become better at sales is to go out and sell. You need to go and offer somebody. You need to go and cold call somebody. You need to go knock on a door. You need to go and do these things, or else you're never going to know if you're actually any good at it. Because although a book may say this is the proper way of doing something, there's another book out there that says that it's not the proper way of doing something. And there's an expert over here that says cold calling is the best way of reaching out to somebody. And there's an expert over here who says that cold calling is absolutely useless and will get you hung up on and probably blocked and you'll never get a meeting. There are facts on both sides. And what is truly comes down to is it's a play in a trial and error game. And that is how success is in life. And I speak about sales because this is something that it's close to me. It's what I know. I'm a salesman. I am a salesman. I'm a businessman at heart. That is all I've ever known. Maybe not all I've ever known, but it's all I've ever wanted to be. And it's all that I am in a professional setting. Trial and error is the best teaching method. It is the best learning method for anybody. I would have to, in my experience, I could argue that all day long just by me. I could argue through the professions that I've chosen. I'm sure that book learning is also fantastic. I went to college for accounting, I had to learn things by the book and you have to follow set processes, but you're only going to get better at it and you're only going to mess up by the book because sometimes you have to throw the book out the window. Not in terms of rules and laws and legalities, but sometimes the traditional methods that you might use or think would be applicable and successful, they're not. And you only understand that through a gut feeling, through intuition, through experience. You do not develop a gut feeling through reading. You develop it by doing, learning, failing, iterating, trying again. And that is one of the core principles that I have in success, or have towards success, is that it is all trial and error based. The people who are successful probably tried more often, definitely tried more often, probably failed more often, definitely failed more often, and then continued on trying after they had learned what did not work for them or in that situation. And then they have iterated and they have found ways that work for different personalities and different missions to accomplish. That's everything I had for you in this one, guys. If you enjoyed it, leave a like below. Of course, subscribe to the channel. That is always helpful as well. Leave your comments below of what you think about success and if it's a trial and error game or if you think people are just born into it or you think people just get lucky. Love to hear what you have to say. But as always, guys, hope you all have success in the world. Onward, and see you in the next one.